$34,000, and if you find the right spot, it could cost you a couple $100 a month or less. And
Yeah, you got to be creative.
yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing about tiny house living. It's about doing stuff differently, breaking the molds.
Artistic photography for fun.
Dancing again.
A microphone.
And
What am I sitting on?
there.
Yeah.
He took a picture of the ground
Oh, that's
underneath
beautiful.
his tree.
Was that the leaves that fall
That's
off?
the leaves that fell off of the tree.
I mean, Little Miss cut that out.
Yeah.
Dad,
Tell everybody what we're up to.
painting
My
right now.
dude, that's a microphone
We're painting right now.
so that they can hear what we're saying.
Oh.
Because you are on video right now. What are you doing?
Well,
Are you painting?
Painting? What are you painting, my dude?
A racer sail.
A racer snail? Does it have a racing stripe? Is that what makes it a racer?
No, it has two racing sails. It's going to be a bumblebee racer sail.
A bumblebee racer snail? Because we're totally into the Transformers right now.
Jacqueline Rogers.
No.
Oh, right here. Laura Bush, the president's wife.
Uh-huh.
Where did you see her at?
The property Daddy manages.
Oh.
We are
Who gave you that book? Laura Bush.
Miss Laura Bush and her daughter Miss Jenna Bush Hager. Are you videoing?
What's that?
A book. A book. What are you doing? You're gonna move your book. Do you like my hat?
Yeah. You can't stand that close. They won't be able to see you.
Do you like my hair?
If you look at our house, we've been in it for almost 2.5 years now. And we don't have any maintenance issues that you would associate with RVs or small houses because it's constructed like a home. It weathers like a home. It functions like a home. You know. So yeah, there's trade-offs to everything. I don't just generally hook up to it and drive down the road. It takes me 3 or 4 hours to get ready. So, anyways,
Cool. I feel like that's good.
5 minutes of chaos.
Uh-huh.
We should call it 5 minutes of chaos before.
This book used to be the property of Viva Blunt School.
There you go. A lot of my old books said that.
Yeah,
I used to get lots of books I used.
1943. Ooh, this one's 1937.
When was that?
That's the oldest one. And this one's 1952.
So Virginia Lee Burton was a busy gal.
Mm-hmm.
The story
Oh,
of
no.
the engine.
But I like
This page now. The whole thing.
The loaves are ready to be baked in the hot oven. The heat in the oven will make the loaves puff up even more. The bakers play card games while waiting for the bread to bake. Oh my, look at what's happening. Take out the tiny loaves of bread. Too late. I think you did.
Down
I think these are the
again.
original sizes of the books too.
Yeah.
They weren't smaller or bigger.
Well, this one is exactly the same size as I remember it
Yeah.
being. So, not that I'm saying I had an original copy or anything, but they've at least kept them the same for a while. This thing for children's books. With the area and started looking for property to buy. Bought a big old parcel of property, and they spent one summer tent camping all over the property trying to find where they wanted to build. Eventually decided on a spot, started building, and built a lodge and a guest house. He and his brother actually built the guest house themselves, and then they had other people do the lodge, but it was mostly out of local materials. They had to build a road. So the stone that got blasted out got thrown down at the bottom of the backyard, where we call the point, to actually make the backyard bigger. And then they used part of it to face the building, and things like that. They used a bunch of local materials for a lot of the things. It's big, it's impressive, it's really cool. And then, so the great-grandfather had 2 children, and then there's more and more, and eventually the house got sold because you get too many owners and they all want money. It happens. but Forrest was managing it, and the new owners asked him to keep managing it. So
Got it.
that's where we are, and we get to raise our, what is it, 5th generation now, kids knowing the property and stuff too, even if we don't own it. So we're up there a lot.
So what does that entail? Like, as far as him, like someone's there? Or how does it work?
During the season between middle of May and middle of October, there's usually someone on the property. And Forrest hires people to be caretakers, and they don't really get any money out of it. It's like, here, have a mildly working vacation. We expect you to work 3 to 4 hours a day to do something to keep the place up. And when there's guests on property, you have to make sure that the hydroelectric system stays running and their visit goes smoothly. And so he manages who's there, when they're there, what they're doing. And if there's any problems, like, yeah, there was a flash flood and there's 8 inches of mud. No, it was more than 8 inches. Everywhere. Did it get in the house? No. Thank goodness for big foundations. I'll be there. But then he spent the next week with a backhoe and a shovel digging it out. So.
So on average, how much Forrest is just like weekly just kind of keeps his pulse on the place? Like,
Yeah, I mean, we're not up there all the time, but he always has somebody there or knows that we have to go up and do something or big projects coming up or, whatever. But yeah, it's one of the things that's always going
yeah,
in
the
that
mind of
brain.
Forrest.
Yes. And so it's one of the background things a lot of the time because it's become something that works well most of the time. And then we
Teddy forgot one of his
How
cups.
often would you say like the actual family gets to go up there?
us
Yeah.
the first time, well, we were there on the property quite a bit this summer. We only stayed there about 3 times. There's another cabin in the area that we borrow, so we can stay up there. But I just say, I don't want to. Like right now, he's gone, but there's no running water. The propane has been turned off. The hydroelectric system has been turned off. So there's no electricity, there's no running water, and there's not a very good way to cook other than using a barbecue. And I said, let's see, we got home yesterday. I don't feel like packing for a weekend to come home on Sunday and leave again on Monday to go back to Salinas. Just to be up there in the cold and keep the kids occupied, even though they'll just get dirty and happy. I didn't feel like it. We were tired. So sometimes that happens and he goes up without us to do projects. Like chainsawing 300 trees or something, whatever he's
Oh,
trying to
that's
do.
how many trees, roughly? Oh.
They won't get that many this weekend, but yeah, they've got
Yeah.
about 300 at least to take down.
Daddy only has 6 jobs and is trying to start a business.
6 jobs.
6 jobs and is trying to start a business.
A business.
Tiny house tour.
Tiny house tools.
He has